Welcome back everybody to DGOT, the Instant Reactions. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Me and Dustin are going to talk about the newly released 2026 Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I like how they had to put the director's name up front just to differentiate between all the other Mummy movies from the Brendan
No
Fraser
kidding.
joints and the original Universal
Tom
Monsters.
Cruise.
But anywho, we'll just jump back into this movie. This movie, just general thoughts, I thought it was okay, but as more and more of the film went on, I'm probably a little too harsh in my letterbox review, but that's how I felt at the end of it. I thought the movie was just okay, and it just got progressively worse as the film went on. Dustin, what did you think?
I liked it. I didn't like it. I didn't love it, but I certainly liked it more than you did. I think that this was the movie that I was on the way to, and you said, "I'm sorry to hear that." And I said, "My man doesn't like anything these days," but I was joking, of course. But I I hear you. I read your review, and I'll hear you out as far as your issues tonight. But from what I know about how you felt, I didn't have those same as much as like the issues you had didn't bother me as much. So I thought it was a fine movie. I thought they got some things really good, and there were some things I would change, but overall, I thought it was pretty solid. I like, and I told you this after I had slept on it and thought about it for a day or so. I think I like this more than Scream 7. So there's that.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we get into any positive or negative thoughts, can you tell me about the opening scene? Because usually, whenever I saw this movie on halfway to Halloween, Dolby Cinema at 7, and my ticket literally said in the email that you got 25 to 30-minute buffer. So I didn't get there
You
till
went to Culver's.
of course I went to Culver's first. I got to get my dinner in, But it was 7:15 when I walked in, and the opening scene was already happening. Like I saw like towards the end of it, like when the guy got hooked with the chains and all that. But what happened before
Hmm.
that?
Not much. They were just riding in the car, singing along to the music, and the mom, she was like kind of annoyed, and she turned the radio off, said it was giving her a headache, which it's a lame callback, but they did call that back later in the movie in the last act. But that's all you missed. It was nothing. It's just we don't get any backstory about who these people are. We're just plopped in the car with them, and they're singing, having dad and kids are having a great time. Mom's not feeling it.
How did
Surprise.
the family end up down in the tomb with the mummy that kills them?
Oh, okay, so then they get to the house and something happened. I'll be honest, I've watched a handful of movies since this one. Something happened and the mom said, "Is he awake?" So they went down to check on it.
Okay,
And
got you,
and that's when they opened the tomb to see if he was awake, and that's when stuff happened.
got you. Yeah,
So also, if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, I just gave you the first scene. The rest will cost you.
yeah. We're going to get into spoilers anyways, but
Yeah.
we'll jump into our positives. I'll go first real quick. I thought the first like 45 minutes to an hour were really good. The movie was set up really well. I've seen a lot of criticism online where people are saying this isn't a mummy movie, it's a possession movie, which is fine with me. The body is still wrapped up like a mummy and it's in a tomb. Good enough for me. you know? So I didn't
Yep.
have that complaint at all. I actually like that approach. I thought that Jack Rayner as Charlie did a really good job portraying like his his devastation and anger and his sadness really well when his daughter gets kidnapped at the beginning. Like it's set up really well. Lee Cronin, obviously, we know him from Evil Dead Rise, the director of that one. A lot of good blood, a lot of good gore, some creative gore too. I don't know if I'll ever. Are you ever going to look at a pair of toenail clippers the same?
God, no, man. And I'm not. I've been vocal. I'm not a I'm not a member of the Foot Clan anyway.
Any
But
exceptions?
shut
You don't
up.
have to go on.
And you make one joke. But
I ain't
anyway,
joking.
was I joking? Anyway, feet kind of gross me out, especially when they look like that. And that scene was brutal.
It was. I thought it was done really well. I thought a lot of the camera work was good, like the stuff like in the city, like when that sandstorm's coming through, and like I saw it in
Hmm.
Dolby Cinema. Obviously, I know you're probably not a fan of that because it's too loud or whatever, but sound design was incredible too. I thought it was really good. And let's shout out this young girl Natalie Grace who played Katie. she gave a great child performance. I thought she was fantastic. I mean, I think all of the acting was good for the most part, but I think Natalie Grace as Katie, our main child who's possessed throughout the movie, a lot's asked of her, and I think she does a really good job. Dustin, what are some of your positives?
So yeah, you mentioned Jack Rayner. I texted you that he had the same look on his face after he watched that tape of what happened to Katie that he had when Danny put him in the bear suit in Midsommar. He nails that, man. That bewildered look, like I liked him in Midsommar. I was surprised that after that movie, we haven't seen him in a lot more. I was happy to see him in this, and I think he delivered. He was fine. It was
Yeah,
nothing like Oscar worthy, but he did a really good job. Um, I think the dynamic of him and Larissa was good. Um, you know, losing a child or having a child abducted, you don't know what's happened to them. That's going to change the family dynamic, put stresses on you, and you could tell their relationship changed. And then even later in the movie, when they get her back, like they're not on the same page about what approach they should take, and they get into that blame game, and then he had the immediate regret. I thought that scene was great. That was very
yeah,
realistic, and I really liked it. Um, I thought the gore was really good, and not just the gore. I think the look of the quote unquote mummies was solid, and I think there was a lot of good tension that didn't necessarily have to do with gore, like just the creepy nature of Katie when she was messing with the family. I think there was a lot of positives to be found in the tone of the movie. Um, I people say that I've seen a ton of review. Almost every review you see says that this is just Evil Dead in Egypt, or this is basically everyone's saying that this is a very derivative movie. Okay, fine. It didn't hinder my experience. Like I never once watched this, and you may have, and that's fine. But I didn't have the feeling like, oh, come on, I've seen this in other movies. I've seen this same trope. I've seen the same storyline. It didn't bother me. Like they did enough to keep me engaged to where I forgave it all. Like I enjoyed myself.
yeah. I got a
That's
few of those complaints with the. I've seen this before, but it's nothing super egregious per se. But
yeah.
do you want to kick us
And
with your
I
negatives?
think I think yeah, I will. I think the movie looked good.
Oh, it
Like
looked great.
not just the I mentioned the look of the gore and the look of the creepiness of the mummy, and you mentioned the sand shots. Like I just think from start to finish, the color grading, the clarity, like everything looked really good in this movie. So I want to give a shout out to that. But as for negatives, uh, you know, I didn't have a ton of negatives necessarily. It's just I think they could have maybe done more. It didn't feel like a movie that knocked me off my socks or knocked my socks off, but it did keep me engaged. So it wasn't the best story that I've ever seen, but um,
I mean, it's entertaining. I won't
I
argue
guess
with you that it's
yeah,
entertaining.
it's
You're not going to be
entertaining.
bored.
A knock that I have is something you mentioned in your positives. It's not I didn't hate it, but some of the sound design I didn't care for, particularly early on in the movie. What I mean by that is we see it in a lot of horror movies where nothing's really happening, so they feel the need to like kind of make us on edge, and they do that by the putting a box of cereal on the counter, but it sounds like boom. Like there was a lot of that I was like, come on. Like I don't like that kind of sound design.
No, I
I
agree with
think
that.
it's
I mean, like the
I think it's
sandstorm stuff, and
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think the sound design in that aspect, what you're talking about, was really good. But I hate it when horror movies, like it seems kind of cheap to me. It's like
it is.
when a wrestler goes to the ring and they say, it's great to be back here in Orlando, Florida, just to get the crowd to react. Like we call that a cheap pop in wrestling. In horror movies, a cheap pop would be unnecessary jump scares and unnecessary, like loud sounds just to kind of keep us on edge. I don't like that. And another thing that I know that you agree with, it didn't bother me as much, but uh, kind of the flow of the movie. So we'd have something happen, and instead of sticking with it, cut to a different scene. We
Oh,
would either
that was one
cut
of my
to
biggest
like
complaints.
Yeah, we'd either cut to the next day, or maybe it's the same day, but it's just another character, and we see what they're going on or what's going on with them. And I'm like, I don't, I don't hate it because it kind of keeps you unbalanced and wanting more. But there was a few scenes that I was like, okay, like what's going on with the rest of them? Like when all this stuff's happening and Larissa's nowhere to be found. I wanted to see what happened when she got home, or what she was doing while this is happening in the house. So that was something that bothered me. And then there was just like some small writing issues, and this may have been, stuff that was filmed and then cut, but they didn't catch that. Oh, we need to cut this too. But Charlie goes to that college and he's sitting in class and he's learning about mummies and hieroglyphics or whatever the professor was talking about. And he goes up to him. He doesn't introduce himself. All he says is that I'm a reporter. And then the professor knew his name, like called him Mr. Cannon. It's like I don't know why that stood out to me, but he didn't say his name once, and he just knew that he was Mr. Cannon. That's a very minor nitpick, but it matters to me. Um, and then there was another scene. So this is a bit of a spoiler. Maud. Oh, shout out to Maud. What was her name? Billy Roy. Yeah, Billy Roy, the girl that played the younger sister. I thought she was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was hilarious in her line delivery, and like it's kind of cheap as well. Like you're gonna give the cute little kid multiple lines with cuss words and make her say these vulgar things. Yeah, it's cheap, but it worked on me. Like that was funny. But anyway, there's a scene where she's in her bedroom during the wake of her grandmother, who she killed. Spoiler. But she pulls out all of her teeth, and we see all of her bloody teeth laying there. We see her mouth dripping with blood. She has no teeth. She goes down, crawls in the casket, and steals Granny's dentures. And that's a shocking moment, and it's kind of dark comedy. But after that scene, like this is not, she still has the dentures in. We see Maud again, and she's got her teeth again. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? How did she get her teeth back? So that's just another, again, minor nitpick detail that it wasn't like a focal point of the scene. I just saw it and it stood out. So those are some negatives for me.
I did want to throw out one exception to the wrestling thing you were talking about. If you were like 1999 to 2001, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. The Rock, whenever he says "finally," like that one
Yeah.
gets a pass because he's the goat on the
Yeah,
mic.
I mean, yeah, you. So Mick Foley was big about doing it. He would always do it, and you give certain guys passes, but The Rock gets passed because he didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
He was over, and he would get the reaction no matter what. But in movies, it's like they're clearly doing it because they feel like they need to keep us engaged or need to make us like jump a little
yeah,
bit.
cheap.
That's when I hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cheap. I agree with you. All right, my complaints. We'll start off with them. I won't say. I think I put even in my like letterbox review, like you mentioned about that professor scene. I didn't even notice that part about the doctor or him knowing the professor knowing Christian. I just called him Christian. Charlie's name, dude. I hate the fact. I hate that I feel like he's always going to be Christian to me. Like he's always going to
yeah.
be that shitty boyfriend who
Well, it's because we haven't seen him in enough movies.
got lit on fire in the bear suit. But he was good in that. Uh, I thought James Wan producer. I immediately thought of The Conjuring because in the very first Conjuring, the parents go to the professors Ed and Lorraine in college and say, "Hey, we got this going on at our house. Can you help us?" Did the same thing in this. I'm not. It's not a nitpick, but I have seen it before, and it's like James Wan is on staff. Like I don't know, it just felt a little too on the nose for me. So, but my biggest complaint, like you mentioned, or one of my biggest complaints is you would get these crazy scenes and it happened a lot. Like this didn't happen just once. This happened a lot in the movie where some crazy shit with Katie would happen, like where she's attacking like there's a scene where grandma gets attacked, thrown out the window and eaten by these like what coyotes or whatever or coyotes, some big ass
Mm-hmm.
coyotes too. Like these things look like
Yeah,
wolves on the
yeah,
in
they
the
do.
in the Arctic or whatever. And then it just cuts to another scene and like we act like that didn't just happen. Like it does this a lot. Like even after like the toenail scene, like where they rip off like the skin and all that, like cutting the clippers with all that. Like it just does this a lot. Like because there's two stories going on. Like we're in we're in New Mexico with the family after Katie's recovered. But then we keep going back to Egypt with the detective doing all the research. And it just kept, like, it took me out of, like, the caring about, like, what the hell's going on. Cause like, I know we've talked about on the show a bunch where, like, you bring them up to bring them back down, but I didn't like the way they brought us back down. And it's like, it just completely ignored it. Like, I would rather see, like, the family grieving. Like, I would rather see, like, the dad and the other kids get out of the car while grandma's getting eaten alive. Like, how did they get out?
Yeah.
Like, they knew that that family's still in there. They smelled blood. And I don't know. That happens a lot in the movie. And it just bothered me. And like you mentioned in that
So,
one scene, or go ahead. You can go ahead and say,
well, I was just gonna say on that. I'm kind of curious if there's a lot of footage that got cut. Like, I'm wondering if they
this
even
movie's already over
filmed.
2 hours. I mean,
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's 2 hours and 13 minutes. I'm wondering if they filmed it and then they're like, "This movie's almost 3 hours. We got to make some cuts," and so that's why we got those scene jumps. Like, I'm curious about that.
but like, even like, I'm going to use The Conjuring 2 as a reference just because, I love that movie. But like, if you're going to have these scenes where like you transition and bring us down, like something scary happens, but then you have like Ed and Lorraine get that guitar and they play the Elvis song with the family. Like, that's a good come down for me. Like, but just transitioning back to doing research but like you mentioned with the mom and dad fighting, like they get into this argument about what all happened and how I was actually glad that the dad Charlie went to his wife and was like, I don't know if Katie's right. I don't know if we can take care of her the way she needs to be taken care of. Like, something's wrong with her. Like, it's not just she's traumatized from being in this tomb forever. And then the mom like starts arguing, like, because I think she's a nurse, right? Like, her profession, like, she's a nurse. She's like,
Yeah,
I can take care of my daughter. But then it's like there's so many scenes where like they're neither of them are taking care of their daughter. Like, she's just gone. Charlie's like doing like active research trying to figure out what the hell happened. Like, if I feel like if you showed one of them in like a depressive state, or like if you showed them like, like hiding in the room crying all the time, like where like you give them a little bit of a pass where you're like, okay, they're not being attentive because they're actually broken or whatever. But like crazy shit happens with Katie and like they're not taking care of their daughter. And then like Katie starts possessing like the other little sister and she takes over the big, is that the big brother or the
yeah.
little brother? Little
I
brother. I
think
think it's
it.
the little
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
But she's been in this tomb
He's
so
the
long,
middle
she's
child.
smaller now. Yeah. But
Yeah,
so like she takes over the little brother as well, and like these parents like don't know their kids. I guess they've never met them and can't tell. They're all acting fucking weird all of a sudden. Like they're acting totally different. And it's like, what are y'all doing this whole time? Like that's just a
yeah,
writing issue to me. And that's not the only part that's oblivious. Like you mentioned at Grandma's funeral, she's sitting in this casket, open casket. The little girl is just ripping her teeth out, spitting blood everywhere. Nobody sees this little girl ripping her teeth out, spitting blood all over the eggs, blah blah blah. They're just trying to get like a nasty reaction out of everybody,
yeah.
which is fine. It just this movie felt a lot like Drag Me to Hell. You remember that one we did recently?
I hated that
With
movie.
I know you hated it, but like they just did that gross stuff on purpose just to get a
Yeah,
reaction out of you. And then the other daughter, Katie, she's burrowing through the floor of the house to get to Grandma in the tomb or in her casket. This is a wake. Like, this is an open casket. It's not the club. Like, we're not playing Avicii loud as possible. Nobody can hear this kid digging through the floor. Nobody notices
yeah,
this. It's like this is
yeah,
just egregious. And then when the kids start attacking the grandma in the casket, they just stand there and watch it. Like, if I'm seeing this, I'm running. Like, I'm getting out of
yeah.
this house. Like, it's
If
not
I'm
normal reactions.
if I'm not Charlie or Larissa, I'm gone.
Yeah,
Sorry that happened. Bye.
yeah. I'm
I'll
not
send an edible arrangement.
I'm not reading all that, or I'm sorry, or well, yeah.
Yeah,
But then grandma's dumbass. There's a scene at the very beginning of the movie, or towards like the middle, actually. It's the middle. And shout out to grandma. She only wanted best for her granddaughter. But when Katie gets brought back, they put her in bed, and grandma is praying over her. Good, I've got nothing against that. But Katie attacks her, like headbutts the hell out of her. So you should think maybe I shouldn't be doing this again, or I got to be on alert. Like 30, 45 minutes later, grandma's doing this shit again and gets attacked, then thrown out the window. Like, how did people not see this coming? Like, everybody had to know that was coming, right? Like, they knew
yeah,
Katie was
and
going to attack grandma again.
yeah.
It's like, if you're
I
going to
mean,
pray, you got to be like standing at the corner, in the corner, like, with your
well,
cross, like aiming at it. Like, it just didn't make no
she
sense.
has she has one outburst, and I'm strapping her to the bed. Like, a matter of fact, that first night she's home or whatever, and she's crawling through the walls like
Eating
she's in as
scorpions.
like it's the catacombs and as above so below. I'm strapping her to the bed. You know, sorry, this is for your own safety.
Yeah.
So, and also, can we talk about this house? I ain't never in my life, this house and the house from the boy. What's up with these? How thick are these walls? Like they got
I'm
whole
telling you.
tunnels behind the walls.
You're just asking for squatters at this point. But I mean, I am really glad the writing of the movie like had Charlie say that, where it's like, I don't know if we can take care of this girl. Like something's wrong. Like I did appreciate that. And another thing, I don't know how you felt about this because I haven't asked you, but something else that I did will say as a positive is, and I hope to God they don't make a sequel because please don't. But I feel like the ending kind of made this a one and done. Like they brought Charlie's character who absorbed the spirit in, and they took her back to the magician or whatever who is strapped to the bed, and they're like, well, we're gonna hit the old body swap on you, and then we're just gonna do whatever to the magician. I'm sure they can figure out a way to make a sequel, but it kind of felt like they did it for a one and done,
Easy.
and I hope it is.
No, no, no. It's not because the whole thing was it needs a living body. That woman ain't gonna live forever.
But what if they
So
just
when
put it in
she
that
died,
tomb and strap it away?
that's the thing. I mean, it needs a living body. If it's not contained in a body, I don't think the tomb can hold it because it's a spirit. It can probably go through surfaces. So I can easily see them. And I also, the ending was a little bit of a nitpick to me, like
That part.
them getting in the hospital and transferring it to her. It's like, come on. I did like I would have been perfectly fine with it ending when Charlie sacrificed himself for the good of his family. Like that's a very emotional scene.
Yeah.
But they transferred it to the woman that kidnapped Katie to begin with. Um, I mean, they said it multiple times. It needs a living body. So when she dies, I think that demon's going to be on the loose, and so I can see it now. The cop gets in the sequel. The cop gets a phone call that the woman has died, and she's worried, and she contacts Larissa and Charlie to let them know. And the second one is they're ghost hunters. They got to find this demon, and they track news happenings and stuff.
Jesus.
And they turn into Ed and Lorraine.
Oh Lord, I hope not. Lord, please don't let that happen. Let me ask you something, John
All right,
Bernthal
Shane.
voice. This isn't really a nitpick, but did it really make sense that like this cult of people like recorded this shit in the first place? Like why?
Well, she kind of explained it. She said, "I'm recording this so that future generations will know what to do."
But why not just have younger people there?
Well, I mean, her daughter was there,
That's what I'm
but
saying. To me, it just felt like making a video is just like shoehorning it into just shows what
could
happened.
you
Like,
could you remember all those words?
I mean, write it down. Like,
There's it's a
you know what I'm
it's a
saying? Like
rant.
George
Yeah,
Strait, write this down. Take a little note.
it didn't bother me because I can see needing to document the process, and
But it just felt like
you know,
easy evidence, right?
it did. And I don't like how that was found. I'll give you that. Like that. Why would the daughter dig up that box to give to the cop?
And
Like,
then there's a scene like where this girl, I can't remember the exact relation, but like she's got her tongue missing, but she can still talk, kind of.
so that's the daughter. That was Layla. That was the daughter that was in the car in that opening scene, and she's the daughter of the woman who kidnapped Katie. And she cut her tongue out because she tried to tell someone the truth one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, she could still talk. I get it might be uncomfortable to talk without a tongue, but she still had. It's not like her whole tongue was gone. We've seen people in movies with their whole tongue cut out.
Yeah.
That just looks like mom cut the tip of her tongue off.
But it's like they established it to where like she's not talking, then they like she shows like her tongue's missing, but then as soon as she shows it, like she's able to start talking. It's like, why didn't you just start like from the get go? That's just a very minor nitpick, and I'm just joking around about it. But I thought it was funny more than anything. There were
Yeah.
some funny moments. Like you're not wrong. Like Katie was funny. Like there were some things that happened that were funny.
Yeah, Maud calling her teacher a rat faced cunt. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's like, why does Charlie not like pick up on like that's something my daughter wouldn't do?
Yeah.
You know, that like it's just stuff like that that's just frustrating.
And then
I'm not going to read my whole letterbox, but I gave it a 2 out of 5. So like if we reviewed, I'd probably get like a 4.5, 5 out of 10, just depending on how generous I felt. But like I said, like the first hour I really enjoyed, but it just got more and more annoying, and I was just like, I'm just ready for this to be over with. What was your final
I
point? I'm
see.
sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say back to Maud in the back seat when she flipped off her brother in the front seat and mouthed "f you" like that. That's funny to me.
Yeah, like
But
it was funny, but it's just like I just don't understand how Charlie didn't pick up on like our other kids are starting to act weird now. Like how did mom not?
yeah,
Like my mom was talking all this shit. Like I can take care of my daughter. It was like, can you?
they got a lot going on. They got a lot of stress factors.
I get that.
Uh,
I get it. Like I'm obviously on the outside looking in, but you can't pick up on very small or like very obvious details.
yeah. But yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and honestly, I enjoyed it enough to where I was still thinking about the next day, thinking about I could probably even go a half star higher. Like I could probably give it a 3.5 out of 5. So like around a 7 out of 10 when we review it, because I think we will review this eventually. If no one else does, I'll pick it because I want to rewatch it. Um, like I said, yeah, it's derivative. Okay, it's funny that Lee Cronin did Evil Dead Rise, and then you brought up Drag Me to Hell, which was written and directed by Sam Raimi.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. So yeah, I think it's easy to see who Lee Cronin is.
I
Looks
wonder
up
if Sam
to.
Raimi was involved in this movie in any way possible, like executive
I don't
producing
know.
or anything.
Yeah, I didn't see his name in the credits on screen, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't there. I rarely read those,
Nah, he's not an
but
executive producer.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, we obviously don't see eye to eye on this one, but um, we weren't too far off on our positives or negatives. It's just an appreciation of it, an enjoyment factor. So I think it's a film worth watching to form your own opinion for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. Like it was entertaining. Like it was
Yeah,
entertaining. And if you just want to watch good
and
kills and good gore, like you'll get that.
yeah, and I mean, I this was the first movie that I saw. I saw this the day after I got back from Vegas from WrestleMania weekend. So maybe I was just excited to be back in the theater. It had been longer than it normally is for me, so maybe that's why I was just in an extra good mood to go see it. I followed it up by going to see Normal with Bob Odenkirk the next day, um, and I liked it about as much. Very different movie, but yeah, I support cinema as always.
Yeah, support cinema always. Dustin's a big Blumhouse guy, so go support Blumhouse.
Is this movie Blumhouse? It
Jason
is.
Jason Blum is one of the executive
Yeah,
producers on it. Him and
it
James
is.
Wan.
Yeah, because I was gonna text you after. I may have even texted you after, but I was gonna say, when Blumhouse gets it right, they're not bad.
I mean, Blumhouse they had a run where they were made or put out a lot of good horror movies.
Yeah, but here lately they've been Patrick Ewing on the Magic.
Yeah,
Not good.
yeah. I never watched Patrick Ewing on the Magic, but I'll take it. I believe it. Shaq with Boston.
Shaq with Boston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you. But we
Tracy McGrady with the Spurs.
any final thoughts, Dustin?
No,
You're going to
that's
see
it.
Over Your Dead Body tomorrow,
Yes, I'm gonna see
Saturday.
it. I'm gonna see it. Michael and Mother Mary this weekend,
I want to see Mother
starting
Mary for
tomorrow.
sure.
I'll probably go see two of them tomorrow. I haven't looked at showtimes yet, so I
I
don't
would
know
wait
which
on Michael
ones.
for reasons.
Nah, I'm gonna go during the daytime. It'll be fine in there. It'll be fine. We ain't gonna get no rowdy crowds.
I don't know if you get your whole Thriller bunch. You send me the picture of it. Might get rowdy. That's pretty cool. I got to give him props. That's cool.
That was fire.
But we appreciate y'all tuning in. Go support cinema, and we'll be back with, I'm sure, Over Your Dead Body pretty soon. We actually had Keith Jardine. You know who Keith Jardine is, don't you? UFC fighter.
Mm-mm.
Well, he's an actor now, and he's been in quite a bit. He's a director and writer and all that too. He's already agreed to come on the show. I'm just going to give, Over Your Dead Body just premiered in theaters tonight, so I don't want to email him yet. Try and
Oh,
schedule
he's
him.
in that.
Yeah, he's in Over Your Dead Body.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's I'm not gonna spoil it. He's in it.
Okay,
He's
okay,
he's hanging out with Timothy and Juliette Lewis. I'll just leave it at that. He's the other
okay.
person with them. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll have him on the show pretty soon. Can't wait. Get to ask him about being in the UFC, writer, director, actor. I think it's gonna be a fun interview. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back soon. Good night, A24.